Barbatos is a really popular Gundam amongst Mobile Suit fans, so it's no wonder he has so many different forms, both in the actual IBO anime and manga, but as well as other, weirder variants. The first Barbatos variant we're going to be talking about is the Amazing Barbatos Lupus. Amazing Barbatos Lupus is from Gundam Build Metaverse. And say what you want about Gundam Build in general, but it can't be denied that there isn't some really creative and awesome designs that have come out of it. And Amazing Barbatos Lupus is no exception. Amazing Barbatos Lupus is crimson colored with a dark blue V-fin and retains a very similar silhouette to the standard Lupus. The main difference is a larger, more pronounced V-fin, as well as larger, more aggressive shoulder pads. The Amazing Barbatos Lupus has two variants of its own, the Daiku form and the Daiju form. The Daiku form integrates a booster pack that is essentially a combination of Barbatos Lupus and the Hajmal mobile armor, at a much smaller scale of course. The Amazing Booster Tenshiki can also be used as a support unit operating on its own, which is awesome. It's like, what if they used more of the Hajmal instead of just transplanting its tail blade onto the Barbatos Lupus Rex? The Amazing Tenshiki booster grants faster speed and mobility, as well as giving Lupus the tail blade, which the previous version didn't have. The name Daiku means 8th Crimson, which is the 8th Crimson form of Barbatos. The Daiju form integrates the Hajmal claws, which go over the Lupus's arms for stronger, longer, reinforced arms, used for crushing, grabbing, and stabbing enemy units. In this form, it has a massively high energy output and is mainly used as a trump card in vital moments. Its armaments consist of the Amazing Mace. Much like the original Barbatos Lupus, this version uses a massive mace. This mace also has built-in autocannons and is more rounded compared to Barbatos's other more jagged maces. The Amazing Iron Blood is the combination of the Amazing Tenshiki and this mace. This weapon is probably the single largest distinction between Amazing Lupus and the standard Lupus, as it fires powerful energy beams, which just feels so weird to see Barbatos using beam weaponry. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, it just does not feel right at all. But I guess it makes sense because this weapon is a combination with the Hajmal, and the Hajmal uses beam weaponry. Either way, it still feels cursed to see Barbatos using beam weaponry. On to the next variant, Gundam Barbaric. Gundam Barbaric is featured in the Gundam Breaker Battlogue Onie. It's based on the standard Barbatos' 5th form of Barbatos, and still retains a similar silhouette, but many changes have been made, like its color scheme. It's now mainly white, but now has black and maroon parts. Its V-fin is much larger and more aggressive, along with larger elongated shoulder pads. The chest venting is now vertical as opposed to being horizontal. Its feet are also way more pointy now, with a singular middle toe extending out like the tip of an elf shoe. It also has many other smaller changes. Its armaments consist of a mace that is nearly identical to the mace that Barbatos' 5th form uses, with a telescopic pile drive in the middle and large sharp protruding blades on all 4 sides. 170mm autocannons are built into either arm. Gundam Barbaric was used by Kentaro Mihara for the 13th US Championship and lost his final match, Nagetsuchi's Gundam 00 Command Quan, who landed a finishing blow on the Barbaric's head, breaking its V-fin. Kentaro would keep the V-fin like this in the next form as a reminder of his loss and as a reminder to get vengeance. The next variant is Gundam Barbatourus. Now this is where things start to get really strange. The last form changed some armor and coloring, but this form is a complete and utter overhaul of the likes I've never seen before. Barbatorus is mainly black with gray and crimson highlights. It has massive shoulder pads with crimson spikes protruding out, giant knee pads, and the biggest difference of all, an extra set of legs that end in augmented feet, with a tail and all taking the shape of a centaur, a mythological creature based on Greek mythology that is half human, half horse creature. These creatures are often depicted as being wild, violent, and savage, which is very fitting for this mobile suit. I didn't think that you could make Barbatos any more edgy, but somehow they did. Oh my god. Armaments. Twin blades. Barbatorus has a pair of curved twin blades that can also be turned into pistols, and when not in use are stored in the wrists. These twin blades also serve a larger purpose, as they can be combined to form a bow, which has a string of crackling red energy. The bow shoots Dainsleif arrows, and these projectiles have massive destructive capabilities, and the arrows are stored in a quiver on Barbatorus's back. Longsword. It also has a katana longsword that is similar to the one that Barbatos uses. Tail whip. Much like the tail whip that was transplanted onto Barbatos Lupus Rex, Barbatourus has a tail whip, but instead of being a singular blade, it's a tri-tipped blade. This is easily one of the weirdest and wildest Gundam designs I have ever seen, but I think it's pretty cool that it's a cannibalization of two kits to become one. The next variant is the original Barbatos. Did you know that the design for Barbatos and Iron-Blooded Orphans was decided by a competition where mecha designers would send in their designs, and if they won the competition, their design would be used? These were some of the guidelines. It had to be a standard Gundam, it had to have an internal frame with armor built around it, and no beam weaponry. Only physical munitions and melee weapons were allowed. Naohiro Washio won the competition, and this was the design that did it. It was very similar to Barbatos we know and love today, yet so different. The biggest difference is the chest and shoulder design. It had a lot more blue armor plating, and the shoulders had a sharper, harder design compared to the rounded pads on Barbatos. The chest also had two protruding pieces of armor that looked similar to an Evangelion's pylons. This concept Barbatos also had a green sensor on its forehead, and a cockpit that opens from behind the machine, and a forearm mounted heat dagger. Another cool thing is the concept of the Ahab reactors. At the time, they were simply referred to as energy wheels, and Barbatos had one on its chest and two more on its calves. And the more that I look at this design, the more that I see Exia, which kind of makes sense because Washio did work on Gundam 00, not designing Exia, but still it's just kind of funny that maybe his influence while working on that affected this slightly. And the final Barbatos variant that I want to talk about is the cursed Barbatos 5th form leak that was going around while the anime was still airing, which was essentially Barbatos cannibalizing the Gusion. However, this image was proven to be fake, and the Gusion was safe, and we would still get Gusion rebate. Looking back now, it probably should have been obvious that this image was fake, from all the pasted on parts, color swaps, and especially those booster pads that were literally just pasted over the previous shoulder pads. I think what really sold this is that the design isn't great. They did a good job about mixing them together, as well as this like fake promotional image that just really sold the idea that this was a real mobile suit. And I thought I would just sneak this one in just for fun because it's kind of a interesting looking design. So that has been Barbatos's weird but cool variants. I personally think that the amazing Barbatos Lupus is the coolest one because having a pseudo combination of the Lupus and the Hajmal is just so cool and an interesting concept. But I'm sorry for the lack of uploads. I've been really busy with school and my job, so I'm trying to get back into like a schedule where I can do everything. But yeah, be sure to look out for the next video. I'm really going to try and be more consistent, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.